When is the last time that you dreamed really big? I'm talking big, like the kind of dreams you had when you were younger. Remember when we were kids, or if you're a parent and you have kids, we allow kids to dream for the most part, right? You can be anything that you want, you can have anything that you want, and then somewhere along the lines, reality sets in, or we teach kids, or we are taught as kids, well, that was just when you were a kid. That's not the reality. The reality of the situation is this. You should do this. You should act like that. You can't do this because, right? So all of a sudden, what we were once told to do is then taken away from us. And so the question is, when's the last time you dreamed big? And do you even allow yourself to dream big anymore? I was reading through some of the thread earlier about someone changing careers. Katrina, thank you for sharing that. And then you were asking, how did you decide to do it? How did you make the jump? And you got some great feedback here from people, including myself, who have changed careers and who have made big changes, right? This ties into dreaming bigger, taking risks, doing something different for yourself. And I love what Alicia shared about how she was waiting tables all her life. And then she had a really dark time in her life, contemplating suicide and everything. But that allowed her, not that allowed her, but it led her to impulsively sign up for massage school, and how that led her on a journey of healing, and how that journey of healing is now leading her into shifting into coaching and helping other people. And when I read that, it just stuck out to me that that's an example of allowing yourself to dream bigger than what your current circumstance is. Does that make sense? So in that situation that she found herself in, she had the choice to either stay in it or to make small changes, right? So for instance, in her case, she could have just stayed with what she was doing and tried to be okay with it and tried to get rid of those feelings of depression and all of that. But instead, what she did is she reached for a bigger dream, a dream to do something different, completely different, to take a risk, to sign up for something and to see what happened. It's interesting. My first experience in to entrepreneurship actually started in massage school too. So if you're watching this, hey, we've got something in common. And that also led me on my journey of health and personal discovery, and then coaching people now for over 10 years. First in health and wellness, and now in the way that I'm coaching people now. So that's an example of how her allowing herself to dream bigger, to think differently, actually led to this big breakthrough that she's having in her life now. And that's just one of the results of allowing yourself to dream bigger. So again, I'll pose the question to you. When is the last time you dreamed big? When have you, the last time that you actually set a goal that is way bigger than what you're doing now? I don't just mean like a goal to lose 10 pounds or, a goal to get $1 raise in your job, but something big, like when you were a kid, right? I think of my daughter and all of the dreams that she has and how we nurture that as parents. I hope we do. Yes, dream bigger. You can do that. You can accomplish anything. Take your mind there, allow yourself to feel it, experience it. Well, guess what? That doesn't stop. That invitation doesn't cease to exist or be real for you just because you're a grown-up. You also get to dream big. It's the only way that you continue to up-level your life. It's certainly the only way that you can continue to make an impact in the world and truly to even be fulfilled. Because one of my greatest mentor in mindset and law of attraction is Esther Hicks and Abraham, the teachings of Abraham. And in the teachings, It's all about that as human beings, we're having a human experience, right? So the way they describe it is we are, what's the word? We are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? But as humans having a human experience, it is automatic in us that we continue to have desires. You can say desires, you can use that term to say dreams, right? It's part of our nature to see contrast, to see what we don't like or want, and that causes us to have a desire for something else. That's called having a dream, right? So wanting to create a different result. It's always going to be that way. That's why they teach, or she teaches, or Abraham teaches, that you're never going to get there. You're never going to get to a specific place, because the accomplishment of one thing is always going to create a desire for another thing. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's human nature. It's human nature. We are made to continually evolve in our experiences, in our thinking, in our emotions. And so if you're not growing, and you're not growing if you're not setting goals or dreams that you get to pursue, if you're not creating those new desires, those new dreams, if you're not living in that, if you're not being true to what it is to be a human being, right? You're trying to stifle the natural inclination that we have to dream bigger and to create goals and dreams for ourselves. If you're not doing that, you are feeling stagnant. You are feeling down. You are feeling depressed. You are feeling angry. You are feeling anxious. You are feeling confused. You may be self-medicating. There's all kinds of things that we end up falling into as a result of not thinking bigger, dreaming bigger, pursuing, continuing to up level our lives, our thoughts, our emotions, our experiences, our relationships. It's just natural. So whenever you're feeling any of that, it's feedback for you. It's feedback that something needs to change, right? That you're either quelching something inside, or you haven't allowed yourself to think bigger or to dream bigger. I often say to people when I'm working with clients or potential clients, we go through a process of figuring out what their greatest gifts are, what their superpowers are, their God-given talents. And I often find that if they're not actually using them, whether it's in their career or in their personal life, if they're not using them, they typically are very unhappy with their life. And so simply shifting into exploring that can actually open up a lot. So how can you dream bigger? How can you dream bigger? So one of my favorite coaching mentors is a strategic coach, Dan Sullivan. Dan Millman is a great author who I love too. So Dan Sullivan, you may have heard me talk about this. He talks about the 10 times mind expander. And he says that we actually have to set goals that are like 10 times bigger than where we are now. Not just double, right? We've got to think way bigger in a way that causes us to have to think differently in order to accomplish it. If we just have like a basic goal, like I'm going to make a little bit more money, or I'm going to lose a little bit of weight, or, just anything that's very mundane, very low level, what happens is it doesn't ignite any real excitement or passion in us. And number two, all it does is it requires us to work harder, right? To work harder and work more for just little bit of result. To the contrary, when you 10x it, when you dream super big, you actually have to think strategically. You don't have to actually work harder necessarily. Most times you don't. And you don't necessarily have to work more. You have to work differently. You have to think strategically. A lot of times it requires you to get support, help, team, community, all of that, right? But it ignites a fire, a passion, and excitement in you because it's so big. Just like kids, when they think of this really big, exciting goal, kids don't say, oh, when you ask them what they dream about or what do you want to be when you grow up, right? It's something they get excited about. It's not, well, I just want to have a job and like have a 1 week of vacation and have some benefits, right? Like, I want to be a fireman. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a unicorn, whatever. It's something exciting and it gets them riled up. That's what you need to put and infuse into your own goals and dreams. So let me read you something from the 10x Mind, 10x Mind Expander from Dan Sullivan. So if I can get it out here. Real growth takes change. It takes change. 2 times growth, which I was talking about on that lower level, isn't big enough to warrant major changes. It's possible to achieve 2 times by simply working twice as hard. But that means typically giving up something to get a reward that isn't that much better than what you're already getting. Make sense? Let me know if you're with me here. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know that you're getting this. For that reason, it's hard to be really excited about just 2 times growth. 10 times, on the other hand, instantly motivates. It makes making major changes worthwhile. Okay, so another point that I highlighted in here is when you have a 10x goal, 10 times where you are right now, even before you have the confidence to achieve it, you don't have to have the confidence to achieve it, basically. You'll get the confidence as you start moving towards it. But even before you have the confidence to achieve it, you inspire yourself. You inspire yourself to a higher level of functioning, a higher level of thinking. Suddenly you've opened the door to a much bigger future and endless possibilities, right? By just setting that bigger goal, that bigger dream. The moment you stretch your thinking with a 10 times goal, you automatically begin increasing your confidence. You automatically, but it's got to be a dream that you're really sold on, right? Like it's got to be something that truly comes from your heart and is something that you know that you can achieve if you put forth not just the effort, but if you put forth the required thinking, the required support around you. Like it's got to be something you truly believe in, even if you don't know exactly how you're going to get it. Does that make sense? So I had a couple of clients with me for a VIP day a couple of weeks back, and we did this whole like creating a vivid vision for their goals. And I wasn't surprised that one of my clients, women especially tend to do this, but men do it too, made her vivid vision really limited. And when we started to talk about it, she saw through our conversation that that was actually a goal she could accomplish in less than a year. It was a pretty simple goal. It was a 2x. It was going to require her to just do more of what she was doing, but just to do it, put more time and more effort into it. However, when I started to ask her questions and take her through exercises that allowed her to dream really big without getting stuck in, well, that's going to be hard, or how would I do that? Or I should be doing this. When we got her out of her own way, right? Got that mindset out of the way of why you can't do something. And we allowed her to start dreaming, which is what we allow children to do most of the time until we interrupt them as well. Then she started to see the potential for 10xing where she was now. Then guess what happened? I started to see her get excited. She got, the heart fluttering and, just the real excitement built around actually having a dream that is big. And guess what? It doesn't require her to work harder. It requires her to work differently, think differently, and to reach out differently and to be strategic. And that's actually what she's doing. And so we have this plan for her over the next 2 to 3 years that she gets to execute in order to achieve this big dream. Guess how she's living her days now? Excited, anticipating, a little nervous at times, but super excited because she's got something big to look forward to. So what do you have to look forward to? Don't wait for something to just drop on your doorstep. You've got to create your dreams. You've got to craft them. They first start here. Here and here. They don't just manifest out of nowhere. You've got to actually think about it. You've got to visualize it. You've got to put some feeling, some intention, some emotion behind it. You've got to shape that dream, put it there, and start taking the steps towards getting to it. But you've got to dream it up first. You've got to think it up first. That is the first step in manifesting. That's the first step in manifesting, is that you have to ask for what you want. And asking for what you want starts right here in that vision, in that visualization. You get to craft it, and then you get to pursue it. So I'd like to hear from you. What's a dream that you have for yourself? So recently, I'm looking over because I have a big Post-it note on the wall. I had a dream. Actually, I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to show you in real time. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to stand up and show it to you. Hope that's not too loud. I started dreaming and I started saying to myself, wait a minute, I need to think a little bit bigger than what I'm doing now, right? I knew it because I do this on a regular basis. And so I knew that I was at a point where, wait a minute, my dream has got to be bigger than what it is right now. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of what I started to craft for myself. I don't worry about the details when I'm in the dream creating process. I don't worry about the details of how it's going to happen. I don't get into my head with, well, that's going to be too difficult. How am I going to have the money? I've never done that before. Other people are doing this. What if people think I'm stupid? I don't interrupt the dreaming process with those details, right? That's what stops people in their tracks. I let it flow. I get really intimate with it. I get in nature. I let it build. Okay. So here's like a little overview, and my computer's on delay, so I don't know where we are now, but I have this loose idea of this mindset type of academy that I want to create. Okay, so it's going to be around mindset. It's going to be around manifesting, around the law of attraction. It's teaching adults, teens, and children all about how to use your mindset and the laws of attraction and manifesting to really, create the life that you want, to take more control over your life and your outcome, right? We teach kids so many other things, reading, writing, art, all of those things are super important, but so is being able to manage your thoughts and being able to co-create with the universe. So I started writing all these different things down, right? Like I want to do this virtually. I'm going to have workshops, an annual event. I want to create a certification program to put other teachers of this out into the world. I'm going to have books on it, right? So I have the word think tank here. So I allow myself to dream really big, I allow myself to dream really big about what I want. I even started seeing this having investors and this all being way bigger than me so that it lives longer than I do, right? So on the contrary, if I was just thinking small or 2x, I might say, oh, I'm going to start a course, or a program that I'm going to teach to my clients, right? And so that's easy. I can just spend time sitting at my computer and putting that together. But when I 10x it and I dream way bigger, I allow it to be bigger than me. And then it becomes something that I get to build up to over the next 3 years. It's going to require me to think strategically, to reach out to people for support, to build a team, and it's going to require me to take a lot of risks. That's an example of dreaming bigger. Guess what? I'm super excited about it. I'm connected to it. I'm pumped up about it. It's like I keep coming back to that in all of my decisions and things that I am doing, because I know that ultimately I'm going to be creating this academy that will start online and also have a location, and that I'll be educating people all over the world and certifying them to go out and teach this, right? See the difference in dreaming bigger? So that's my current big dream. I want to hear from you. Share in the comments. And if you don't have a big dream, what did this conversation bring up for you? What did it bring up for you? Any ideas for how you can dream bigger and what you can start to implement? Get your own big Post-it note and start just writing. What gets you fired up? Feel in your heart, get out of your mind, drop into your heart, and think, who do I want to be a hero to in this world? Who do I want to be a hero to? Is it children? Is it adults? Is it divorced women? Is it animals? Whatever it is, think about how you get to be a hero. What does that look like? What does the big vision look like? And then let yourself dream. Don't worry about the details right now. Just allow yourself to dream. Let me know in the comments how that feels. I can't wait to hear from some of you and see what your dreams are. So leave your comments here and I will check in with you all. Thank you for being here with me earlier in the day. I so appreciate that. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to let me know that you're watching the replay and share your thoughts and comments with us. I just now have to figure out how to turn this off, because I am streaming from, this is so funny, I'm streaming from Zoom, but for some reason, it's not letting me turn off. How do I stop? Oh, this is too funny. Okay, I'm going to do my best. Oh, there we go. End meeting. It was hiding. Okay, guys, checking out, over and out. Dream big.